your second time here in Mexico. How have you enjoyed it so far? Do you like coming here? Do you like to meet the fans, the Mexican fans? Are you surprised how many they are?
Last year, that was my first surprise. The numbers. I could not believe it. You know, I know there were comics being printed in Spanish, but I really had no idea of the intensity. Generally speaking, I think there's more intensity among more people here than there is among American fans. There's a certain percentage of American fans that are very intense, but not across the board.
Right.
I mean, just not across the board.
Too jaded, you mean?
Well, they're more polite than that to like show it, maybe.
Yeah.
But here, and you know, in many, well, I would venture to say all Latino countries, all Spanish-speaking countries, the culture is different. I mean, people are just warmer, you know?
Yeah.
People are more willing to be physical.
Oh, okay.
You know? And you know, there's a you know, especially the Northern Europeans that came to the U.S., they have a very, maybe loving relationships, but, you know, there's a little bit of distance.
Right.
There's a little bit of caution, you know, showing any kind of affection. And you listen to any telephone conversation. When my wife calls her family, which sometimes it might be 2 or 3 times a day,
Yes,
it's always as if they haven't talked in 6 months.
Right. And just for the people that are listening, your wife is from what?
Colombia.
She's from Colombia, so of course there's that hot blood, that hot Latin.
Well, it's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Do I need to say more?
No. I'm there with you.
Debido a la evolución del cómic, ¿qué tanto le gusta, qué no le gusta sobre cómo ha evolucionado el cómic? Porque veo que usted es como que muy más tradicional.
Okay, he's talking about the evolution of the art form and just the way art has changed. In fact, we were talking to somebody, to another artist here, who was talking about that book that was published a long time ago called the John Romita. It was drawn by John Romita, it was written by John Romita, How to Draw the Marvel Way.
Yeah.
And it was a very type of art that was perfected in the 70s by Marvel. So every comic that you read, it was not identical, but there was a certain similar way of telling the stories. It has changed a lot.
Yeah, that actually was, I mean, the weight of the comic was on the visual storytelling. As I was saying before, Stan's original concept was working from a plot or a very short outline for the story, sometimes typed in preparation by the writer, sometimes written down by myself just by having discussed it with the writer, as in the case where I was working with Stan. And the artist was given the responsibility, which I thought was a privilege, because that's the way I conceived of a comic to be in the first place. It's like a comic strip. I associated them with comic strips. The artist creates it, is the creator, the writer, visualizes it, inks it, and in many cases they were doing the coloring work for syndicated comic strips. And when I was introduced into the business and saw that even with Stan's style there was an assembly line process, I didn't like that very much. I mean, that did not suit my taste. But I was too intimidated by the artists that I was surrounded with, like John Romita and Buscema and Gene Colan and Jack Kirby and Bill Everett and these guys from the previous generation, every one of which could draw a lot better than I could, and still can for that matter. But I was a very good storyteller, and I think that's what turned Stan ultimately. And once we got through the first issue of the Hulk, that I penciled completely. where we reworked some stuff until I got it strictly in the Marvel way. What you're talking about, how to draw the Marvel way. It really had to do more with how to tell a story the Marvel way.
Okay.
Because the styles, I mean, say Bill Everett and John Romita, they're two entirely different styles. Don Heck and Jack Kirby, they would be two entirely different styles. I mean, in my way of thinking, I can't tell who does the drawings now by looking at them. But then you could tell who the artist was by looking at the drawings. And there was a great amount of importance placed on skills between head and hand and eye in terms of the inking, because most of it was brushing, and the latter day artists have brought the pen and the marker into it, which is a lot easier than developing. And there are some guys right now that are inking with brush. I mean, there's no question about that. I've seen the work. But pens are a little bit easier, a little bit easier to develop a style that's different, with cross-hatching and tone, and like Rob Liefeld or someone like that. It's a little bit easier.
I think it's always good for an artist to put a stamp on it.
It's absolutely.
And I remember a lot of the 70s, the 80s artists. You can just look at the cover, you can look at the eyes, you can look at the smile, and you go, oh, that's a George Curtis, that's a John Byrne, that's a Jack Kirby. That to me was a lot better because it was the same character.
I thought so.
In different stories, but everyone was individual.
For instance, Jack Kirby, who created along with Stan the Hulk, for instance.
Yes.
Now his original Hulk changed, even. Then it was me, and then Sal Buscema, and then it went on until it eventually evolved into the character that we see today in the comics. The only problem I have with some of the changes is there's very little actual, in a literary sense, very little personality development. Everybody becomes enraged. All the women carry guns. It's always teeth. Bared teeth, saliva between, spitting out anger. And the greatest thing to me about the Hulk was the dichotomy between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, his incarnation. It's a classic theme. There's no, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde,
Frankenstein,
the Frankenstein thing, the Gollum thing from Eastern Europe legend, and there's a certain pathos around the Hulk because he didn't. For instance, Banner hated the change, and the Hulk really didn't want to be the Hulk, and his rage came out of either an actual threat or a perceived threat, but otherwise he was fine. If you treated him okay, he treated you okay. So he got along very well with dogs and kids.
Yeah, I remember that in a lot of those.
Or animals, I mean, he identified with the deer in the forest.
I do remember that.
And now, I don't know. I think he'd eat the deer in the forest.
Sad to say, I do believe so.
And he's always, and then they do these overly exaggerated things. I mean, I'm sure I've developed a lot more in that sense. My style was very basic, almost as if I were drawing, inking cells for an animated film. It's kind of very basic stuff, even though there might be a lot of content in the particular panel. But I think that difference between the two and the struggle between them, the struggle between Banner and the Hulk creates a tension that you can develop endless amounts of stories about. In romance, for instance, Betty Ross or somebody else, in his combative relationship with the Air Force or the Army in general. I mean, you can develop that over and over and over again. But the Hulk is part of a group. It doesn't work. He's a loner.
Right.
He doesn't work with. I mean, they made him work with other people, but I think it makes it a much less interesting character. You know, it's more like having, now you got this giant bodyguard.
Okay.
You know?
I see where you're going. That's all the Avengers as well. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you here.
My pleasure.
Thank you for letting us interview. Your fans are like looking at me with daggers in their eyes because they want their Wolverine. They want
the other thing. These guys are very gals, very.
Yeah.
They're
Let's hope so. The Superman shirt wants to kill me right now. I tell you that. But wait.
He says, yeah, you're right. I do.
Thank you very much, Martin. Pleasure to see you.
My pleasure.
Hope to see you next
It's
time.
always my pleasure. And